Saturday afternoon! It's still afternoon. It's 5:30 Eastern. Tesuiji at the desk with the Saturday Sovereigns Preview Edition because I have... Music to start. There we go. I have to make the quick start and the league template, and I'm going to do both of those on stream just in case y'all need to learn how to do this yourself. Want to see how the magic is made. I'm also going to show you the future baseball world of 2067 when the Canadian Baseball Confederation will be created. But first, we got to get the league template set up, which means getting things like the league settings and whatnot created. So we're going to hop into new game, new custom game. We're going to call this CBC League Template. I tried changing the starting year and it broke stuff, so I'm not going to bother touching that this time. Get some of my favorite things set up. I'm also going to be adjusting the dev speed and aging speed, or the dev speed up a little bit. Just so players start arriving in the majors younger. And we'll disable player development focus. I always find that being too nitty-gritty. I usually do a 40-30-20-10 split on those. And just a notch under hard. So now let's go create our Canadian Baseball Confederation. We're going to start by adding by going with the default fictional lead. We're not going to bother with the wizard. We're going to just cook this thing from scratch. So Canadian Baseball Confederation, or the CBC. We're going to mark this as an international league in Canada. And the league reputation, we're going to start it at 5. The thinking is this is going to be below the JPBO if you have it in your game, the KBO, but still above Honkbal Hoofdklasse. Let me just make sure I've got the right setup for the schedule, because one subdivision is going to be 2 divisions of 4. The other sub-league is going to be 3 divisions of 4. So it is sub-league 1 that is 3 divisions of 4 apiece. And now, yeah, that is unbalanced, but by that same token, there's a lot more teams in Canada's East than there are in Canada's West. So that's why we're going with that approach. Let's go to the teams. So sub-league 1 is the Eastern Conference. And Division 1 is the Atlantic Division. The Atlantic Division is run with the Halifax Shipwrights, so close to doing Privateers, the Ottawa Colonels, the Montreal Maroons, because Lord knows there's no hockey team with that name anymore, and the Quebec Voyageurs. Division 2 is the Metropolitan Division, and that's where we see the Mississauga Hurricanes, named after the former mayor of Mississauga, Hazel McCallion, Hurricane Hazel. The Oshawa Hot Rods, because Oshawa has always had a big automobile industry there. The Toronto Saints, named after the 4 stations on the subway that have Saint in the name: Claire, Andrew, Patrick, and George. And the Tri-City Musketeers, who play in Kitchener, Waterloo, Cambridge. The final division is the Central Division, which has the Hamilton Hammers, the London Doctors, The Niagara Daredevils, you know, going over the falls and all that. And the Windsor Wings, named after their friends across the Detroit River. Fun fact, Windsor, the only place where you have to go north to cross into the United States from Canada. Subleague 2 is the Western Conference. We'll start with the Prairies Division, with the Edmonton Greats, named after Gretzky and, at this point, Connor McDavid. Your Regina Sovereigns. The Saskatoon Rebels, who, as you can imagine, have a bit of a rivalry with a team named the Sovereigns. And the Winnipeg Mosquitoes. Believe it or not, the Winnipeg Goldeyes are going to name themselves briefly the Manitoba Mosquitoes. I got there first, gosh darn it. And finally, in the Pacific Division, the Calgary Barons. I know, I couldn't fit Calgary and Edmonton in the same division. The Kelowna Grizzlies. The Vancouver Suns. And the Victoria Yellow Jackets. Yeah, we're going to keep the DH on. We're going to allow ties after the 12th inning, just so people don't, you know, freeze to death and people's arms don't fall off. Active roster size, we're going to make 30 players so that there's a little more flexibility in terms of how you arrange your players. Let's go with spring training of 60. Now, there is such a thing as the CanCon rule, or Canadian Content Rule, up here, where 30% of your content has to be Canadian if you're broadcasting it. So we're going to do something similar here. Your foreign player limit is 21 players, so 30% of 30 is 9. So that's how many foreign dudes you can have on. That's how many Canadian dudes you have to have on your team. Our trading deadline is going to be before our All-Star break. All-Star break is July, on or after July 31st. So let's move the trade deadline to the 24th. Let's turn the trade frequency down to low. Not going to have free agents automatically created. We're going to have our draft in November. 5 rounds. So, you know, if you miss in the MLB draft, you're eligible for the CBC one. We're going to turn off the draftee signing and the combine. Financials, I always joke that everything Canada has, the US has with an extra 0 on the end. So we're going to be... Let's cut the ticket baseline down to 10. And lop the first digit off there. Visiting teams, gate share, let's make it 20%. And because, you know, Canadian finances can always be weird with the currency fluctuation, we're going to go goofy and we're going to make it 10, plus 10, minus 10 yearly inflation. Since the season spans 151 games, we're going to say 120 is needed for a service year. No posting. We're going to make minimum years for free agency. We're going to make it 5. We want to make sure that folks can join the majors in their peak if they so chose. Cash compensation if a free agent is lost. And arbitration after the first year. And let's make it non-escalating. So we're going to drop everyone's media budget. We're going to turn off revenue. Oh, you know what? We're going to turn on revenue sharing. We're going to kill the luxury tax. And then for the salaries, yeah, that looks about right. Maximum 5 years for contract as well. We'll allow contract extensions. There, so now teams will be losing money, but not as much. So maybe we'll bump the ticket baseline up to 20. There we go. That looks a little better. I am keeping the attendance baseline low because I'm not sure which ballparks we're going to be using, not all of which will have large stands. Alright, so we are going to turn off holding the inaugural draft. 120 games starting... Let me see what I said. It was May 1st. Start date on Saturday. Now, once the league template has been created, I'll be able to import in the schedule that GMO was so kindly able to build for me. Huge help and shout out to him. Let's make our spring training 4 days long. There is interleague and it is balanced. Oh, whoops. Default schedule length is 2 games. We're going to have an all-star game. No home run derby. There will be custom playoffs. So it'll be the wild card round. The division series. Alright, sorry, that's the conference round. That's the division round. And then finally, the Pearson Cup. Lester B. Pearson, not only former Prime Minister of Canada, but a huge baseball fan and player. And his name was inscribed on the cup that the Blue Jays and Expos competed for back in the day. We're going to turn off expansion and team relocation and team nickname change. Foreigners can't win Rookie of the Year. Sorry. Leave the award names the same for now. We're going to make the draft pool always Canadian. Default player origin Canadian, sure. We're not going to do international free agents. We don't believe in that. Now, do we want scouting discoveries? Yeah, sure, let's keep that on. We're going to turn off international established free agents because we're going to have KBO and MLB. I'm going to keep the player creation modifiers as is. I don't know what messing with those would do. Excuse me one moment. Maybe I could adjust those eventually once I remember what they do, but we'll leave those as is. We're going to stick with a 5-man rotation. I think that'll probably be okay. Some teams are probably going to want to go for 6. Let's go with 9-man bullpen. And let's 16 fielders. Platoon everybody! Let's do it. We're not going to ban infield shifts. We're going to leave all the modifiers there as is. This should do it. Also be able to save this as a template. CBC, or Canadian Baseball Confederation. Confed. All right. Looks like everything came in smoothly. Let's import the schedule that GMO made. 124 games. It's being picky. I swear this is the correct setup. Hang on a second. I think I need to just go into the SLDL with a notepad and make the tweaks. No, this is set up right. SL1, D1, T4, D2, D4, D3. Ah, okay, hang on a second. I know what the mix-up is. I think I know what the mix-up is. And we'll turn on interleague and balanced games, because that's the way it's supposed to be. Options, league schedule, wait, go back. Loaded has a different... I don't get it. Normally this would work. There we go. So yeah, each team will play against their own division 20 times, and then against the other divisions a total of 4 times. So if I hop over to the Regina Sovereigns... Ah, I see the players have been created. Okay, so it's a good thing I saved the league template when I did. Then take a look at the schedule. Wednesday is a common day off. But you see I swing out to the east to take on the Musketeers and then the Saints, back home, stay in the division for a little bit. And then I can make adjustments to the playoffs. So I got the league template spun up. Show off the uniforms. Really happy with how everyone turned out. Well, let's run through them all. Barons. The Greats. There's the number 9 hidden behind the G, of course. The Shipwrights. The Hammers. the Grizzlies, the Doctors, the Hurricanes, Les Marous, Daredevils, the Hot Rods, the Colonels, Les Voyageurs, our Regina Sovereigns, Saskatoon Rebels, the Toronto Saints, the Tri-City Musketeers, Vancouver Suns, very Vancouver Asahi inspired, the Yellow Jackets, had to have at least one Tequila Sunrise team in here, the Windsor Wings, and the Winnipeg Mosquitoes. So now let's put this into our quick start, finish the setup, and we'll see what that looks like. If I work this properly, we won't run into an issue with the players actually showing up. I'll actually be able to do this freely and generate free agents as I need to. So welcome to the year... Well, let me advance forward to the end of 2066 first. I spent the last week or so just quick simming this through to... No, that's not our Matt Olson. That's someone different. All the way into the year 2067. So 40 seasons into the future. And I bet you're wondering, hey, that doesn't look like a team that exists right now. That doesn't look like a team that exists right now. The league expanded literally the first or second season after I started the save. There's, what, 4 or 5 teams in Texas now? And, of course, I can't do this save if the Blue Jays are still in town, still in Toronto, so they relocated to Nashville to become the Stars. So it's 6 teams per 6, or 6 teams per division, 6 divisions. And yeah, I had to rejig them a little bit from the real world. So we got the Memphis Rapids, the Nashville Stars, former Blue Jays, the Portland Warriors, the Austin Flyers, Las Vegas has its team, the Athletics, the Oklahoma City Continentals, the Columbus Wanderers, and the El Paso Desperados. Kind of cramped. And if we take a look at the world, if we take a look at Canada, there's a bunch of free agents who will be able to play for us. Best player in Canada right now is John Carey, right fielder for the Milwaukee Brewers, born in Halifax. 3.8 wins above replacement for the Brew Crew. John Way, the best pitcher, playing for the Desperados. It looks like there's a top prospect in Jeremy Triska from Montreal, making his way into the Atlanta organization. Ooh, he could be very, very good. Wow. Oh yeah, let me turn off the particular view I had. Some Canadians still in the draft pool, like Troy Collins, Johnny Hoekstra, John Ruthman. Eventually, we'll be starting to see those guys show up in our game. So I fast forwarded 40 years. Let's talk about what happened in those 40. Congratulations to the Milwaukee Brewers, winners of 3 in a row. Even the Vegas Athletics made it to the dance in their first season in the desert. Orioles ending a long playoff drought or championship drought. Brew Crew back in it in 2031. Cubs win it in 32. Twins defeat the first expansion team to make it to the World Series in the Oklahoma City Continentals. Mariners finally get over the hump in 2035. This complicated the timing of moving the Blue Jays south, that they won it in 2038 and 40. The Angels pick up a pair in the early 2040s. Marlins become a good club, 3 of 4 championships, or pennants. Texas ring off 3 in a row. The Nashville Stars did win a championship, their first since relocating in 2063. The Austin Flyers made the dance in 2058, but still no expansion team has won a World Series, and some of them continue to be outright dreadful. This isn't the only league I have in this save, by the way. I do have the KBO and Honkball Hoofdklasse. So KBO is set up at League Reputation 8. Hoofdklasse at 6. I think we'll keep that there. So the Canadian League will be a little bit further down, but we can always sign guys and move up. So your KBO champion in 2026, the LG Twins. Tigers ring off a quartet in a row. The Twins go on a run of dominance from 2038 to 2047. My goodness. Hey, Hanwha picks one up in 2041. And then the expansion team, Donghae Timber Rattlers. And the Suji Black Knights picking up championships in the 2050s. We head over to Honkball Hoofdklasse then. Congratulations to Honkball Club Allen Veerbar, winners in 2026. Kinheim picks up a couple. Hey, there's our good friends, the Hoofddorp Pioneers. Actually win a couple. And then the expansion Reimersval Green Knights. Yeah, the expansion names I had some issues with at the outset. If you look at the history, Austin was originally the Flying Tigers. And Columbus, I don't even remember what their original team name was, but I switched it over. And Portland was the Road Warriors for the first year of their existence. So let's go import that template that we just saved. Good. All the teams came in empty. That's exactly what I want to see. So we'll hop back to the start screen, and then we'll get into making this our quick start. I mean, the original idea was that the Jays would move south as soon as Vladimir Guerrero Jr.'s contract ended. Small problem with that, though. Ooh, okay. Guerrero Jr.'s stats have disappeared. That's a fun hiccup. But yeah, he got injured to heck and could not play past 2035. Still, someone could hire him as a coach. Alright, all the uniforms showed up. Good, good. Now we've got to get ballparks ready for these guys. Yep. 5. All these look good. Assign fictional financials. I feel silly because I screwed up the number of games in the league template, so hopefully people will be able to adjust those. So the All-Star break will take place first week of August. Last games of the regular season taking place in early October. You know, we start the season later because Canadian spring and winter. And now we can make it a custom playoffs. So let's make it that and let's give the higher seed advantage. No, let's not do that. Fixed. So it'll be Western Conference seed 2 and Western Conference seed 1 getting buys. And then 1 will host 4, 2 will host 3 in the divisional round. Then everyone goes to the conference round and then best of 7. Awesome. We'll alternate home field for the final round between sub-leagues. Save this. I'll have to go in and make an update to the number of games to make sure that worked properly. Now, most of my ballparks are going to be coming from Flying Canuck. He is one of the greats of 3D modeling. Oh, looks like he just released one last week. Parque de Seguro Social. Nice historical Mexican league. All right, let's just download all of the stadiums that he's got for Canada. And then we'll fill in the rest with whatever we don't already have. The advantage of having fiber internet is that I can plow through these without tarrying too long. Most of the ballparks I chose are small enough that I won't be like egregious. Okay. Most of the ballparks that he's made are where the heck am I saving this? There. Do have dynamic scoreboards. So things will show up properly. Unfortunately, some of the... I think it's only going to cover about half the league, so some will have to have fictional parks. And some ballparks will be huge, and I'll have to manually adjust the size down. One of the ones that he's got, though, is one of my favorite designs, Parc Labatt, which was a fictional design for... or a theoretical design for Montreal that never quite got created. Alright, let me go take a look at... So I have 9 of a possible 20 ballparks already out the chute that I can load in. Ballparks, models, and then unzip all these bad boys. Alright, so let's go take a look at what Flying Canucks pulled together. Starting with, appropriately enough, London's ballpark. Still the longest continuously operating park in North America. Ah, I see the 3D model is also going to be doing silly things. Occasionally this doesn't work, so I have to do this part manually. And there we go. Nice looking digs, no? Labatt Memorial Park. Next up. Calgary's actually in the midst of demolishing their ballpark right now, so maybe this is a revision of that. Say hello to Foothills Stadium. $6,000 capacity, pretty decent. Pretty sure someone's done RCGT Park, so I think I can go back to the Colonels. As good of a name as Greats Grounds is, their actual ballpark is Remax Field. And look at that, their attendance is exactly what the average attendance is going to be in the league, 9,200. And Edmonton has a beautiful ballpark, by the way. Right up against the river valley. Nestled among downtown. Got the view of the bridge off in the distance. It looks stunning. Next up, we're going to do Parc Labatt. Yeah, Labatt's got sponsorship for 2 ballparks. Maybe we'll just change the name here. The biggest ballpark in the league right now. But maybe we'll say they tarp off the top section, so it'll only have a capacity of 18,000 to begin with. Yeah, let's let them fill the whole thing. Why not? It's Montreal. They deserve it. We gotta do something about the name, though. Trying to think, because they got the Labatt sign out in score or in center field. Let's make Pierre-Carl Pelado the sponsor. Parc Videotron. Off to Winnipeg and Shaw Park. Love the backdrop there of the city skyline. Pretty sure I got Saskatoon's ballpark here. Yes, Cairns Field is the name. Hey, that one loaded properly. Awesome. Bit small, 2,000, so I guess the ticket prices are going to be high. Unfortunately, the ballpark in Regina is not one of the ones that has been built yet, so I may need to go into the ballpark designer just to cobble something together. Vancouver will continue to use historic Nat Bailey Stadium, home of the current-day Vancouver Canadians, the single-A affiliate of the Toronto Blue Jays. Nice digs. Let's import in Victoria's Royal Athletic Park. Another lopsided grandstand, but hey, it's got character. And for Les Voyageurs, we have Stade Canac. Nice. Even got a rink off in right field. All right, now I need to look in my Out of the Park folder. Yes, I do have RCGT Park, thank goodness. So Ottawa will have their ballpark, and that does get me to even half of the ballparks having models. Very nicely done work. Trying to remember who did the RCGT. I think it was Nielsen CP. Oh no, it was Lawn Loafs. That's the one. Lawn Loaf did good work even though he got banned. So that leaves half the league still missing ballparks. And I hesitate to get rolling until I have that pretty much in place. And I know it's not going to be exciting television, so let's wrap this one up. I will have that sorted out by the time next week rolls around. There they are. And I'll also have to create a bunch of fictional Canadians to help fill out the teams. Actually, let's do that first. Because otherwise, these guys aren't going to be able to fill their clubs. So let's go create fictional players. Indie Leaguers. Canadian. Bench, fully developed. And thinking between 20 teams, 9 players, we need 180. Let's take a look and see if I just ruined my save file. Nope, we got a bunch of our low-level dudes. We got some lovely names. Bunch of bills. And then let's probably make some fictional coaches too if we can. There we go. Made a bunch of fictional Canadian coaches now. At least I think they're supposed to be Canadians. Thankfully, those don't qualify for issues, but got plenty of coaches available now to circulate, so nobody has to be stuck with crummy ones. And hopefully this hits the mark. Worst comes to worst, we can do a free agent draft. Go to here, and then you can schedule a free agent draft. But for now, let's make this a quick start. All right, updated league template and this quick start will be going up on my Google Drive shortly and available on the Out of the Park forums. You can download the mod at the link I showed at the beginning, but also you can just grab it from here. All right, that'll wrap up my stream for the day. More to come next week. Wednesday, Saving Mike Trout has its debut episode. The following week, the Saturday Sovereigns with your Regina Sovereigns starting up using this quick start. Time is precious, folks, and I'm grateful you've chosen to spend some of yours with me today. Firage, take us out. Have a great rest of the weekend, and I will see you on Wednesday.